First of all, thank all of you for being here. Everybody in this room knows me, and we've had dialogue. We shoot the breeze together. We've laughed together. Most of you know me as being very playful. But there's one thing I'm very serious and passionate about, and that's my children. Your children, the community's children, my nieces, my nephews. I don't play around when it comes to kids. It's very, very close to my heart. It's my business. It's what I do. I ran for school board because simply I wasn't happy. I was not happy. My daughter, Desiree, is a product of Prince George's County School. She's still there. She's entering into her 3rd year. And her 2nd year was very challenging for me because she had a teacher who was an excellent teacher. She's been in the system for years. She actually taught her at her school when I was at her school. But I wasn't seeing the same quality of education as when I went there. And a couple of things struck me. The first thing was the size of the classroom. The lack of discipline in the classroom. And another thing that was very important to me was I stood in my daughter's class and cried to her teacher, telling her, my baby needs help. She's struggling with reading, she's struggling with math, and my baby needs help. And she looked at me in my face and said, I'll help you. Every Monday, you bring her in here, and I'm going to tutor her after school. She went one time, and that was it. So for me, having a seat on school board is nothing more than very personal. I have a personal stake in this game. I'm not doing it for a ladder. I'm not trying to reach any other political gain. I'm doing it because my heart is in it. One of the things that's very important to me when I'm elected for Prince George's County School Board is to make sure that we hold these teachers accountable. If a parent comes to a teacher, if a child comes to a teacher in any manner or form, needing help in any manner or form, something's going on at home, something's going on in the classroom with another student, somebody's touching me, I can't get my reading done. Our job is to set policies in place that says to that teacher, we're holding you accountable. We understand that the teachers are overwhelmed. We understand that you might have a pay cut. But the bottom line is, the reality is, you're there to teach. And if that's not what our students are getting, then we have issues. That's number one. We wouldn't send them to school if we didn't want them to have education. Number two is safety. It's ridiculous to me, and I use that word very loosely, that our kids are going to school and being bullied every single day. My daughter had a bully in her classroom, and it was okay. That's ridiculous. Once again, it's holding them accountable. It's something that's going on in your classroom. We need to nip it in the butt. And for me, a seat on a school board does not mean that I'm sitting at a desk and I'm pushing papers and I'm redlining stuff and I'm stamping stuff. That's not who I am. Those of you who know me, I get involved. I won't see something go on in school and I won't be there. I don't care what other school members have done, but for Shawn Marrow, I get involved, and I promise you that. The school board seat is a seat that oversees policies. It's pretty much what they do. We make sure that the policies we set are put in place, and we create new policies, and we work on an extensive budget that is the talk of the candidacy right now. But this is the reality of it. The budget is what it is. It's like in your household, you have a budget, and when things come up short, what do? You find creative ways to make what you have work. That is my number 2 job, is to find creative ways to make what Prince George's County has work. I can't promise you more teachers in the classrooms. I would love to do that. I would love to have 2 teachers in every classroom with only 13 students. One-on-one. That would be ideal. And pretty much like a private school. But that's not realistic. And I can't lie to you. But what I can promise you is, when that budget comes in front of my desk, I'll dissect it from top to bottom. I'll ask every question that I do not know, and I promise you that if you come to me and say, this is going on and why is this, If I don't know the answer, I'll find the answer, and we'll get it done together. I promise you that. So I'm asking for your votes, for your support, for your prayers, for your money. I'm asking for all of that because we are a community. If you go back over the history of black people, we've done things because we've come together as a community. That community is not only for school board, but all the other elected officials all the way up. Mark Spencer, who's running for a state's attorney. We have to work as a community, hand in hand. Some of the very same things that I talk about in my candidacies, he's putting into place in policy. If we can't start off with these young kids at my son's age, at age 3, and direct them in the right way, by the time they get into a system of criminal and breaking rules and stealing, and we've lost them. It starts in the school. It starts at that age right there. And we have to make sure that we are working as a community, which means you, which means me. Even if you don't have kids in the school system, it means standing up and saying, I can no longer tolerate another child being hurt or being uneducated just because. I can no longer sit back and just say, well, the school system isn't doing this, or the state's attorney should be doing that. You got to get involved, bottom line. And how do you get involved? You host meet and greets in your house. You get to know your candidates. You fight for what you want. You want better schools? You fight for better schools. You want less crime? You fight for less crime. You want systems in place that will teach kids that if you do steal something, we're not only going to just give you a slap on the wrist. We're going to make sure you turn this thing around. And it starts from schools. It starts right there in the classrooms. So I want your vote. I want your help. I want your knocks on the doors. But most of all, I want your prayers. Because it's not easy, and I'm being real. I could be doing a whole lot of other things right now. But my heart is in it. And I want your heart in it too.
If we didn't make sure to get some applause in for the person standing right next to her the whole way. Let's give an applause for Mr. Marrow. Before we wrap up, I do want to take a few minutes to introduce some very important people in the room. First, I'd like to introduce Lakeisha Perkins, running for school board in District 7. District 7. And I'd like to introduce Mel Franklin, running for County Council in District 9. How you doing? Recap, we had Sherette Gordon running for Central Committee. Of course, I would be remiss if I didn't make sure to remind y'all that it's Mark Spencer for State's Attorney. And of course, I am Trevor Osson. I'm running for County Council in the 8th District. Hold all the applause. But I point these people out to you for a specific reason. All of us, when we decided to run for our particular offices, we knew that we could not get it done by ourselves. There are a lot of people running, and the thing that you hear them say is what they're going to do. I'm going to do this when I get there. I'm going to change that when I get there. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. Well, the reality is that there is no such thing as changing Prince George's County by yourself. So one of the reasons that we got together is because we knew that if we were going to really change Prince George's County, that we were going to have to start to come together. And so myself, Mark Spencer, Mel Franklin, Shawn Marrow, Lakeisha Perkins, Sherette Gordon, we got together as a group and said, hey, let's get together and start to really look at